So I had a friend contact me. He had a sweet gum tree that came down, and he wanted to know if I wanted the lumber. So obviously I was super excited to go over there and check it out what he had. When I got there, I saw that the tree was about 24 inches in diameter and 30 feet long. So I tried to use my chainsaw mill because I just got it, and you guys all saw the video of how I put it together and used it for the first time. But I was having to cut each slab down one side and then work around to the other to finish the cut on the other side. So it was taking a long time, and it's slow going with the chainsaw mill. So I decided that the best thing to do would be to try and get someone with a portable bandsaw mill to come and mill up the lumber, because I wasn't just going to give it away. So that's what I did. I found Roy Lynch from Lynch Co. locally, and he came down and he did an awesome job cutting it up. So I took a video of us cutting up that tree with the bandsaw, and I'm going to share that with you, and I'm going to voice over a couple pieces to explain what's going on, how it's getting used, and share some of the knowledge that I learned from Roy while he was cutting it. So as you can see right here, this is me going around to the other side of the log in the video, and I'm cutting the last, I don't know, 6 inches that my 18-inch chainsaw didn't reach. So it was slow going, so this was quite a process with the chainsaw mill, so that didn't work out. So let's take a look at the bandsaw mill and see how much better of a job that did.
Here we go with the first couple of cuts with the sawmill.
Okay, so here he's lifting up the log with his hydraulic lift up onto the bed of the bandsaw mill. We had to move that log. It took 3 of us to move that log, but we had to position it into those claws to get it up onto the lift, which was really difficult. Everything else the machine basically does. Now that he's got it up there, he spun it a little bit to get it into position, and then he's gonna take a couple measurements just to make sure that everything's kind of square before we start cutting, because the log's never perfectly straight, obviously. So he's trying to make it that way, and we're on a little bit of a hill. And he was experienced enough to let me know that I should put my truck right in line with the sawmill so that we could just pull the pieces of lumber right from the sawmill and just slide them right into my truck, which worked out great. We weren't hauling lumber around all day. It was hot out there. So now he's made some adjustments and he's about ready to cut off that top piece, which will just be garbage. Oh, before he does that, he's going to take a measurement. There's a ruler on the bandsaw mill, and he just went up and took a measurement to see where the lowest spot was, so that he could make sure he cuts through the whole thing on this first pass. I'm letting this beginning part of the video play in real time because I want you to see how fast he goes through that log. That log's about 24 inches in diameter, like I said earlier, and it's 12 feet long. I had one 30-foot long section. I cut 6 feet off to try and use with my chainsaw mill, which didn't work. So the last 24 feet I just cut in half, because I figured then we'd only have to move 2 logs up onto the bandsaw mill. So he's got that first one cut that quickly, so we're just going to take that piece off and throw it to the side. And then he's going to make a couple more passes here, and those pieces we're going to put into the lift on the right side of the bandsaw mill, and he's going to bring those up later and cut me stickers so that I can stack it all up to dry. I'm going to fast forward through some of this. It's you know, kind of boring just to watch this, but there's a lot of stuff right there. He gave us a hand signal. He just taught us the hand signal to move it over onto the piece, so we knew where to put that. By the end of the day, we had all the hand signals down. He didn't have to tell us every time. here we're just discussing how it's going to get cut. I wanted to get some pieces with live edge and some pieces I wanted to be square cuts. So we're just talking about how the log's going to get cut up and how we're going to use the next log and this log, and how many 1-inch pieces I want, how many 2-inch pieces I want. So we got that all squared away, and now we're taking that piece off and we're putting it into those hooks, and those are going to get cut up later into stickers. So now I'm just going to fast forward through this. This is another piece that we're going to take off, and it's going to be stickers. He made an adjustment to the bandsaw. I think he changed the blade. It took him like 30 seconds. This guy was just phenomenal operator. So now you can see here on those hooks we have 3 pieces there, and those will get turned into stickers. The pieces that are laying on the bed, he had us put those there so that they can be trimmed down into smaller sections, and the pieces that he cut off are just more stickers. So he's flipped those up, and now he's going to cut those, and those are all stickers that he's cutting off right now. And we flipped the boards over, and he cleaned up those top edges on that side of it. So what we didn't cut off for stickers is all good usable lumber. At this point, my truck's pretty much filled up with what it can handle. That wet wood is really heavy, so we were stacking it on the side. So here's another side view of cutting up those scrap pieces and getting stickers out of some and narrower lumber out of the rest of it. And there we flipped it over again so that he could clean up that side of the board to make the narrower lumber. That pile of sawdust that you see there, that's all the sawdust that there was. That machine just blew it all out right into that spot, and I just cleaned that up when we were done. We were lucky that we had enough room to drive the trailer in, and my truck right there. Everything really worked out perfectly. There was plenty of room to work and work smart. So here we're taking there was one more 8-foot section that was cut, so we're moving that into position so that we can lift it up with the hooks. There is no way that we could have lifted that, even that smaller piece of the tree. So now in these clips you're going to see him cleaning up the tops. That piece there is a garbage piece, and then he cuts the 2 pieces off for us to use as stickers later, like we talked about. And we didn't have to spin that log on the machine or anything. He was good enough of an operator that he just flipped it around and manipulated it with the hydraulics that were available. So that we flipped over so we could cut that piece of bark off. So I have a nice clean piece of lumber. This is a shot of him just using the hydraulics to move that timber around. And I had him cut mostly 1-inch pieces, but I figured I got him there, I could have him cut whatever I wanted. So we got some 2-inch pieces as well, both 12 feet and this 8-foot section. That was a single board that he just flipped over with the hydraulic piston. So those pieces were garbage, these pieces are stickers. Those pieces were all good lumber. And then we're going to get our last couple of cuts before we finish up for the day. I could not have been happier with the way this cut. I can't say enough good things about Roy. He was super efficient. It was an hourly rate, and I never saw anybody move so fast. He was all business, no lollygagging around. He really worked hard. We all worked hard. We got about 500 board feet of lumber cut and loaded into my truck, and I took it home, and now I have to sticker it all and let it sit and dry for about a year.